Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Michael Septerman, and today I'm going to be taking you through Blender's asset library and how I use the asset library in a recent edit of mine. So I'm gonna actually put out the thing that I modeled up on the screen right now so you can see exactly what I'm talking about, and we'll go into the file as well later. But for now, I just kind of wanted to show you how I use Blender's asset library in order to speed up my workflow. So taking a look at this file here, you can see that there are some assets that are already modeled. This is a part of my industrial pack. So this includes things like rusted walkways, beams, bars, and pipes. So the way this works is pretty simple. So let's just add in a new cube for the sake of this tutorial, and let's move it off to the side here. And let's just model something really quickly. Something like that. I'm not really sure what that is, but it's just for the sake of this tutorial. So I'm gonna count this as one of the pillars here, and let's add in a bevel modifier, something like that, and shade out smooth, or nose, and let's add this into our asset pack. So now we've made this in Blender, and I'm actually going to link these materials together so it has a rust texture as well. Actually, I'm going to link it to the original rust by pressing Ctrl L and then link materials. And let's just press U to unwrap. Like that. And I'm going to first name this so it's something that we can refer back to easily. So I have two industrial pillars already, so I'm just going to call this industrial pillar 3. And now here's where the easy part comes in. So in the bottom left here, you can see that I already have the asset library opened. But what you can do if you don't have it open, I think this is defaulted to timeline. So you could click this, and over here you can see asset browser under the data category. Let's click asset browser. And if you drag it up here, you can see that I already have some of these assets in my industrial pack. However, most likely you would see current file. And basically you want to be able to assign this to your asset library. And that's super simple. You just right click your industrial pillar here that you just made and click mark as asset. And now it'll be under the unassigned one. So then after that, you can press this plus button to create a new category or asset catalog. I don't need to do that because I already have industrial pack. So while you are in the current file, what you can do is drag industrial pillar over to the new pack. And just like that, this pillar or model will be available for you to use in other Blender files. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second here. But a few things to keep in mind is that I recommend creating one Blender file where you can just lay out all your assets like this and create a pack. And this is roughly how kitbashing works if you use things like kitbash3d.com or other similar websites. So by doing this, you can make your own asset pack and make sure you can refer back to the same materials over and over again, especially if it's something super repetitive like this walkway or this beam. And one thing that I forgot to mention as well is that let's just get rid of this first. You can clear asset. Before you mark anything as an asset, especially if it's 1, has any kind of modifiers, and 2, if it's made out of multiple different meshes, make sure that you first apply all the modifiers here. Like I just press Ctrl A to apply the bevel modifier, and make sure that you join all the pieces that make up this mesh. So let's say I duplicate this and I move it up like this, and let's just apply the transform. Make sure you click both of these and you press Ctrl J to join them into one mesh, and this way this makes sure that the asset library knows to import the meshes correctly and ensures that everything is up to date with the modifiers and how it looks, and so you can import it exactly how you intended it to be. So again, now that we've joined these together, let's right click, mark as asset, go to our unassigned, and just drag it into the industrial pack. And if you see all files here, if you go to user library here, and you click the industrial pack, there you can see we have our industrial pillar 3, and we can just drag and drop. So that's how easy it is to use Blender's asset library. And oops, I accidentally dragged it back out. And that's how easy it is to use Blender's asset library. And I'll show you what I'm currently working on and how I made full use of the asset library in order to kind of make the file happen and make sure my workflow was much smoother. So let's go jump into that file real quick. Let's take a look into one of my portfolio pieces that I made recently that I call Industrial Rust. And I kind of leveraged the asset pack that I created earlier in order to speed up my workflow and actually make this piece a lot faster than it would have been if I did not use the asset library. So taking a look around here, you can see many of many of the models that I made earlier. So you could see these pillars, these steel beams, the walkways. So if we just go into solid view here, you can see that super clearly. You can even see some of the pipes that I made here that I just added modifiers to. These tires and this table is not from the asset pack, that's from somewhere else, but these walkways and so on and so forth. And as you can see, some of these are just mismatched together, some of them are kind of intersecting each other, and that's all right. As long as it looks good in the final render, that's what matters. So if we go back here into our camera, I'm going to be showing you how exactly we can use the asset library. So if we go into user library and under industrial pack, as you can see, we have the industrial pillar that we just created earlier. So I'm going to drag and drop it in here, and let's just Q, origin to center of mass, and let's just scale this all the way up. So I'm going to go into the rendered view, and I'm going to find a place to put this, maybe somewhere more in the light. Something like that, maybe. Honestly, let's maybe add an array modifier on the z-axis. Stack it up like that. And as you can see, yeah, it's as simple as that. And then you can drag in any of these assets that you want. Let's say we want pipe 3. Let's drag that in, scale that up. Rotate it 180 degrees. And let's position it something like slightly jutting out like that. Yeah, and just like that, you can put together fully textured assets straight into your scene without having to remodel them or copy them over from another site. You can just place them into Blender's asset library, and just like that, you can place it in. So yeah, and that's how simple it is to use Blender's asset library. Just make sure again, just to remind everyone again, just make sure that you apply all your modifiers and join all the loose meshes together, just to make sure that the asset library can properly read what's going on with your meshes. So with that being said, thank you everybody for watching this week's Blender video. I hope you learned something useful as always, and you can always comment down below if you did in fact learn something useful. And yeah, thank you once again. If you haven't already, please go down and hit the subscribe button because it really helps my channel grow, and we are, as you know, growing exponentially over the past few months. So thank you everyone once again. And with that, I hope to see you all next week. Goodbye!